By now you've heard from us. You've heard from our physicians, our guides, our nutritionists. You have seen the spaces, learned about the therapies, and understood the philosophy. Now, we want you to step aside. The people you are about to hear from do not work here. They came here, as you may be considering, because they were searching for something. They are going to tell you in their own words what they found. We are going to let them speak, and we hope that in their voices, you will hear something that none of us on this team can offer you. The specific, unscripted truth of what it actually is like to be here. Please welcome Doreen, a nurse, a 2-time cancer survivor who shares her journey from aggressive chemotherapy to discovering renewed hope through the plant-based Gerson diet.
To come here to help the fight of my cancer. I was diagnosed with malignant cancer November 6th, and I was just shocked and devastated. And as a nurse, I immediately was consulted with our surgeons and our oncologists. They right away pushed through our insurance to hurry up and get started with chemo and surgery and to remove your whole stomach and just a myriad of modalities. Well, after starting chemo and having a passport put in, I had 3 chemo drugs running simultaneously. Usually when people are in chemo, they only have 1 modality, and I had 3 because it was an aggressive, huge tumor cancer in my stomach. After almost 3 weeks and 2.5 weeks, 3 months and 2.5 weeks later, after going through all this chemo, I almost died 3 different occasions. So after finishing up chemo, I decided that we need to come to Gerson. I had his parishioners talking to me on the phone and telling me what Gerson is all about with the juicing and the meals and plant-based, and you need to go back to God's original diet in the Garden of Eden, which is just plants. Because He is our creator and He made us, our bodies are able to heal itself. And that was very foreign to me because I thought, well, doctors heal you, antibiotics heal you, medicines heal you.
Right.
But when I contacted Zue, and I've also talked to Isabella, multiple myriad of questions, and asking you, I became educated in the Gerson program on how, if you give your body a chance, and if you just give it a reset button, it can start to heal itself.
Yes.
I figured, well, my body's already shot. I've already had so many ill side effects from chemo. This is my 2nd round of cancer. I've had uterine cancer back in 2017, and I don't ever want to experience that again.
Fear is often one of the first emotions that follows a diagnosis, but it doesn't have to be the final chapter. Cynthia shares how she has moved beyond fear after a breast cancer diagnosis and found physical relief through treatments like vitamin C.
My name is Cynthia Sáenz, and I'm originally from Mexico. I got diagnosed with breast cancer. When they're being introduced, but after having the vitamin C, this was hurting a lot. So there
the tumor area.
Yeah.
In the tumor.
On the tumor area. So then I knew there was also some good effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And interesting, not only hurting, for 2 days it was hurting a lot on my armpit. And then after those 2 days, it stopped. But I found it less dense. I'm able to see the difference. And I definitely, after the 4th or 5th day here, I definitely felt my breast less dense, which I know this is giving me great results. Okay, so I know what it is, and now I know the word profound, because this is so profound. When you get a diagnosis like cancer, it's it moves you in so many ways, but it's very easy to fear, to overcome you. So the first advice I will tell people is take a breath, Know that there are other avenues. Don't let fear overcome you.
Please open your heart to Christine, who shares the deeply moving story of supporting her mother and seeking an alternative to conventional cancer care through the immersive nourishment and healing environment of Gerson therapy in Sedona.
Christine in Tucson, Arizona. Originally, I think we were looking at an alternative to chemotherapy and radiation, and we started investigating online and discovered Gerson therapies and started listening to some testimonials, and eventually we found you here in Sedona. Primarily, it was the IV treatments and also the complete immersion in the Gerson diet. And so I think that was probably the most beneficial thing for her, is getting used to eating a proper way that would help her body heal. And yet, mostly what I see is it took a lifetime to get to that moment in time when your body's giving you all the signals, hey, you need to stop, you need to think about, it's reacting to a lifetime's worth of experiences. So you gotta give your body that much in the healing process. To take a couple of weeks out is not too long. It's not that long to hit that restart button, recalibrate, get focused again on what's most important, get that direction. Just a quick story. It was amazing to me when my mother did receive her diagnosis. Of course it was after surgery and she was healing up, and so we were just being encouraged by just the process of, her being able to get around a little easier and all of that. And when we met with her oncologist, it was just, a support person in her life. I went with her and was sitting there, and here I'm watching my petite, beautiful mother who's just been through so much, wearing a paper, gown, sitting on the edge of an examination table, and here comes her doctor, catch your breath. And he said to her, well, I have good news for you and I have bad news for you. What would you like first? And she said, well, let's just get the bad news out of the way and then we'll end on a happy note. And I'm watching this process and I can tell just from her mannerisms she's bracing. And he says, well, the bad news is you have cancer. The good news is you get chemo and radiation. And I watched my mother fall apart in that moment. Because to her that wasn't good news, that was bad news on top of bad news. For me, everything inside of me wanted to jump up and say no. And, they must have it wrong. They must have it wrong. There's got to be a different way. I saw her body react to that information. She went from hopeful in that moment to trembling like a small little child. And that's really hard when you're watching your loved one go through something like that.
In this next story, a guest shares why he has chosen a warm, healing environment for his girlfriend and the impact that decision had on both of them.
And the reason we're here is I was informed about the Gerson method about 8 years ago, and I remembered it. So my girlfriend got stage 4 cancer. She was not comfortable with chemotherapy, getting a stent put in her chest, and I kind of explained it to her, and she kind of liked it, and so we thought we'd give it a shot. I think the good thing about coming here is the security blanket of the expertise of knowledge and support. And it's really not like a medical clinic, that it's cold. It's a very warm environment. Everybody's friendly. And it's more of like a friendship than a association.
Yeah.
Kind of get that feeling at the hospital, it's like the doctor's just an associate. You guys lay out everything, okay? But part of communication is listening. So they tell you what to expect. And then sometimes you don't realize it until it actually happens. So when you get the first down, you're kind of like, oh, you know, a little bit nervous because you didn't do it. But then you learn to deal with it, and they give you the tools and resources to help the problem. Everything top notch, you know. A lot of 10s around here, but I had to give a couple of 10 pluses. You know, there's a family here, and it's a beautiful living organism that just affects everything. And I don't know how else to describe it until you experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love here.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful the universe led us here and allowed us to participate in the healing.
Today, we hear from a guest who's turned to Sedona Wellness Retreat to pursue a nutritional and lifestyle-based approach after experiencing difficult side effects from traditional cancer therapies.
I've been diagnosed with a very aggressive type of breast cancer. I've been introduced to the Gerson diet in 2012. My son, when he was in law school, it was so stressful, he sought out a nutritional program.
Yeah.
He introduced me to that diet. So he and I have been on this journey off and on. So I knew in the back of my mind that was there, that it was had been a successful treatment for cancer. Mm-hmm. After the second emergency visit with the doctor where my concerns were not answered, I did ask to see the surgeon to see if I could just get out of the chemotherapy, and she did agree, yes, and she agreed with me. This is at a whole nother hospital. Yeah. She agreed with me that these were adverse effects, and I was allergic to my port, which tells me my body does not tolerate artificial things or synthetic things. So I just did a simple search, a residential Gerson diet treatment, and I got Sedona Wellness Retreat.
Has there been any changes with that since you've been here?
Yes, it has shrunk noticeably.
So you've only been here for a little over a week, almost 2 weeks.
Yes.
And you're feeling a noticeable difference.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. Yes. To the point, I'm going to reach out to the surgeon and say I think my situation has changed. As a woman of faith, I asked the Lord for a path out of the chemo, and I had told him many times I don't want to do chemo. I don't want to do chemo. I don't want to do chemo. And so when that was my only choice, I was confused. That it was pushed on me so quickly. So when I saw the surgeon, I saw that as a different path. But what it did is gave me some time just to seek really the true remedy, which is nutrition and lifestyle.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
he did make a way, and he made a way to Sedona.
Joining us today is Marion, who shares how she used the weeks following her breast cancer diagnosis to strengthen her body and find emotional clarity through the specialized care and supportive community at Sedona Wellness Retreat.
My name is Marion Swenson, and I'm from Redlands, California. The reason I came here to your wellness retreat was because 2 weeks ago I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And at the time I was diagnosed, I was told that they were going to be doing some testing and that it would free me up for 2 weeks. And I realized at that time I would have 2 weeks to be able to help strengthen my body. So what I knew about the Gerson therapy program is that he was all about getting these juices in his patients and getting them healthy, and a part of that regimen with good food were these coffee enemas. That was totally just off the charts. When you look at anything else, it's just like, I have never read about coffee enemas. And I remember telling my husband, I know that something was going on with my liver prior to this. And I told him that if I can master that and do it well, if that is what I came away with from the wellness retreat, that I was going to be just so overjoyed. And I was so glad that that was a part of your program. Mm-hmm. And today when we went over our lab work, I saw those numbers fall. and I am just ecstatic. So that was one of the treatments I was looking for, apart from all of the wonderful treatments you have, the fever sauna, the ozone, and the IVs and the acupuncture. I mean, all of those added those wonderful benefits. Another one was this beautiful labyrinth that you have here that allowed me to process a lot of what I was going through with, having to be diagnosed with cancer and knowing that your life is going to change. So that was a huge piece, to your wellness retreat. One of the things that really was very attractive to me is smaller means that I'm going to get a little bit more one-on-one. And then getting here, because of the smallness and because of the layout, it's very homey. So it really gave me the sense of family. And I think that when we're all going through something so hard, people that are strangers can become such beautiful, wonderful family members when you leave. So that's what I experienced. One of the things that came up for me in that labyrinth, it wasn't, and usually I'm a praying person, and I thought I would have started it out with a prayer. And I'm not asking really the why questions with why I'm here, but that I am. The question that did come up though was, who am I now? And I walked that labyrinth, and the more that I walked it, I realized that my life was changing. And that life has to be different. And that relationships are going to be more meaningful to me. And that whatever dark corridors I have to go through, I know that there's someone, I believe in God, that's going to be bigger than what I have. And I realized that, we can't just sit with this diagnosis. I do not want this diagnosis to become me. I still have a lot of me in this world to give. That walk in the labyrinth was a life-changing moment.
Even those with medical expertise can find themselves searching for a different path when it becomes personal. Dr. Catherine, a naturopathic physician, shares how she's responded to her own colon cancer diagnosis by embracing a nutritionally based program combined with the advanced naturopathic therapies.
Is that the body knows how to heal itself. And so what this place does is it opens up the detox pathways, and it gives nutrition to the body, and so it just lets the body do what it knows how to do, and it takes away the obstacles to cure. One of the biggest obstacles to cure is stress. So just getting away from the stresses of life, you've attained something just in doing that and winding down the nervous systems. Well, actually, I looked around at a lot of cancer therapy clinics, and this one seems really nutritionally based. I mean, I guess I didn't look around a lot, but a lot of them are very, very medical spa type of situation, and this just seemed like it was going to be really whole foods nutrition, and I really liked that. Just really eating as much vegetables and healthy food and staying away from inflammatory foods as possible. And I know that meat can be inflammatory, and definitely dairy can be inflammatory. That makes the most sense to me. And it seems like this clinic has a leg up in terms of, compared to other just straight up Gerson therapy clinics, because you guys have all of the IVs and hyperbaric and naturopathic components. That's something that I really appreciated, is that you incorporated the naturopathic basic treatment guidelines of dry skin brushing, castor oil packs, coffee enemas, contrast hydrotherapy, wet socks. That felt really good to me as a naturopath, And I feel like this program really gives you the tools to change your life, make those changes.
We never tire of hearing these stories, not because they're good for business, though they are, but because they remind us every time why we built this place. The people you just heard came here frightened. They came uncertain. They came skeptical. Some carrying the weight of a loved one's illness as well as their own. They came because of something, a conversation, a search, a moment of desperation or courage that brought them to this page and then to this place. And now you've heard what they found, not what we told them they would find, what they actually found in their own words, in the specific and irreplaceable language of people who have lived it. Now, we can't promise you that your story will look exactly like any of theirs. Every person who has come here is different. Every healing journey is different. What we can promise you is this: you will be cared for here in the fullest sense of the word. You will not be alone, and whatever you are carrying right now, whatever brought you to this video, at this hour, in this moment, you will find at Sedona Wellness Retreat a team of people who take it seriously, who take you seriously. If you're ready to take that next step, or you simply have questions and want to talk to a person, not a form, you will find our contact information below this video. We answer every inquiry ourselves. We would be honored to speak with you. Welcome to Sedona Wellness Retreat. Whatever brought you here, you are in the right place.